there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Suzanne and this channel is about aging and how us women deal with this whole process. And this week I'm really excited. I have this gem that I want to share with you about aging, and I found it quite surprising because it was something I was thinking about, and I thought, I wonder if this is connected to aging in some way. I know that you've all heard the saying, beauty is only skin deep. And yet, even though we know that, we spend, I believe, an inordinate amount of time trying to fix this part of who we are. We know that beauty is only skin deep, and yet billions of dollars or pounds, depending on where you live, are spent a year on beauty aids and beauty tips to help us look beautiful on the outside. I mean, you can go on any site and you'll find lots of tips on wearing sunscreen and drinking the appropriate amount of water, getting your exercise, all these things that help contribute to your health, which are all good. But I found it very interesting that this little gem I'm going to share with you was not mentioned on these lists. And yet I think that it's something that should probably be near to the top of the list, if not on the top of the list. So I'm going to share this with you, and you might not know this, or maybe you do and I'm just catching up, which is always a possibility. But this gem to slow down the aging process is kindness. Can you imagine that? I know we love to hear stories about kindness. We love to hear stories on the news about someone that did something really heroic. We love hearing about acts of kindness and paying it forward and all this stuff. And we know that kindness is something, an attribute that we really love to see in people and hope that it exists within us. But I never realized that kindness is actually related to aging. And I just want to share with you some of the things that I have found out. You might not know this, or maybe you do, and I'm just catching up, that being kind actually triggers the hormone in your body called oxytocin. Now, oxytocin is produced by the hypothalamus, and it goes into the pituitary gland, releases into your body. And oxytocin, you may know, is called the love hormone. It elevates your sense of feeling love and loving others, which is really kind of cool. So when you are kind, you release this and you actually have this generosity and feeling trust and bonded to the people around you. And of course, we know when we feel bonded with people, it's actually healthier and we actually feel better because we have a sense of belonging. And this can come about just by simply being kind, which I thought was very interesting. Oxytocin is also known to help release inflammation, which I thought was really interesting. In fact, they've done studies on this, and they found that adults between the ages of 57 to 85 who volunteered experience less inflammation. And we know that volunteering is often something that we do because we want to give back into the community, and that releases the oxytocin into the hypothalamus, which goes through the pituitary gland and makes you feel good. And therefore you have less inflammation and you actually feel love. So my goodness, for that reason alone, that you can see the benefit of being kind. But it just doesn't stop there. Kindness also releases serotonin into the body. Now, serotonin is a very famously well-known hormone related to our moods and feeling good. It does a lot of other things, but particularly it makes us feel good. So when we are kind to people, the serotonin gets active in our bodies and gives us a sense of feeling good about ourselves, which obviously makes us feel better about life, and we can relax. Another hormone that I thought was really interesting that is released in the body is dopamine. Now, dopamine is that hormone that's released, this like the athlete's high, you know, like when someone does something really risky, they have this sense of a rush, if you will. Well, that also happens when you're kind. So we have such an incredible favor that we're doing to ourselves, to our own bodies, when we choose to be kind. We're releasing oxytocin, serotonin, and dopamine. So I thought that was really cool. I also discovered that being kind to others actually supports your immune system. And we all know in the last 2 years, we have heard a lot of talk about how we can help build up our immune systems. And did you hear one person tell you that kindness is a way to build up your immune system? Well, if you haven't, I'm telling you now. And the reason why kindness builds up your immune system is because you cannot be kind, really kind, and stressed at the same time. Now, we know that staying in a state of stress really elevates your cortisol levels. Now, some level of cortisol in your body is good, but too much can be bad. But when you're kind, you de-escalate your need to either fight or flee, which raises your cortisol levels, and being kind reduces them. And when you're kind, you can be relaxed. You don't have to be so stressed out, and your immune system has a chance to build itself up. So there's another reason why we should perhaps consider practicing some more kindness. Research also found that being kind also protected your heart health, which makes sense. This is very interesting. Research found that 2 hours after a person feels angry, they elevate their chances of having a heart attack by 5-fold and a stroke by 3-fold. That's 2 hours after being angry. So I suppose I need to weigh out my options. Should I really risk being angry, or would it be better if I were to just calm down and maybe choose to evaluate my reaction because of the stress that this actually put on my heart health? And of course, if a person spends a long period of time over the course of months or years in a state of anger, this is going to wear down your body. It's going to increase the aging process, and your beauty, you might be able to maintain your beauty on the outside, but definitely you won't feel beautiful, or perhaps not even be beautiful on the inside. So perhaps the next time I think about being angry, maybe I should consider, is it really worth it? And maybe there's a different way I can respond, and maybe I could be kind. Like, I think at the times that I have a choice between being angry and being kind, and I gotta be honest with you, it's either in traffic or in a queue somewhere. I don't know about you, but I always end up in the long queue. I can even change and go to the shorter queue, and the other queue will suddenly speed up, and I find myself in the longer queue. And for me, that's a choice where I can choose to be angry, or I can just be kind and understand that these things happen, and I don't have to get upset when it is in my inclination to get upset about these things, or even to recognize maybe someone else is in a really big hurry, and I could even actually let them go ahead of me. Go figure, right? Sometimes these things are hard to do. But when we see the health benefits and the fact that being kind actually can affect the aging process and even how we will enjoy the latter part of our life. We can be grumpy and really dig our heels in and really hate this process, or we can choose to be kind and giving and caring to other people. And actually, in the end, we might even enjoy the last few years that we have left on this earth. I am reminded of this proverb in the Bible that says, "Never let loyalty and kindness leave you. Tie them around your neck as a reminder. Write them deep within your heart." And I thought about that in relationship to kindness. And I thought, that's about what you got to do with kindness. You got to put it somewhere where you can remind yourself to be kind. Because I don't know about you, but for me, kindness is not an automatic thing. Kindness is something that I have to deliberately, in some cases, determine, no, I'm going to be kind here, because my go-to emotion often is not kindness. It is maybe anger or being defensive and all these other things, which actually can create more problems for me in the long run than if I were to choose to be kind. And I think that this proverb is beautiful because it says, tie kindness around your neck and write it in your heart. So it implies to me, and I found even in the research, said that kindness is an actual deliberate act of selflessness, something that we do for someone else. It's not, it's something that has to be done intentionally. We have to intentionally choose to be kind. So even if you don't think that you are a kind person, you could choose to be kind. And I know that it's, sometimes it's a hard thing to choose, but it is a choice that we can make. And the reason why I put this together the way I did is I wanted to motivate us, or give us good reasons, perhaps is a better way of putting it, to consider that when I'm kind to someone else, not only do I build up a sense of community with them, a sense of belonging with them, I'm more relaxed, I'm releasing all these hormones in my body that are good for me, and you end up feeling richly rewarded by being kind. Also helps build up your immune system and your heart health. I think that all those ought to be good reasons why we choose to be kind. And I read this saying, it says, a beautiful face will age, a perfect body will change, but a beautiful soul will always be a beautiful soul. And I think that a beautiful soul is marked by kindness. So I really hope that you've enjoyed today's video. I hope you take something away from this, just a little gem or two to consider in the process of when you're putting on your sunscreen and you're drinking your water and you're exercising and you're doing all these things to take care of your health, to help with the aging process, that you would consider that kindness is a huge element of helping with the aging process. So if you like this content, would you please like and subscribe and hit the notification button so when I come up with some other gem for next week, you'll be notified and you'll be able to listen. And if you would, I'd be really happy if you left a comment. Let me know what you thought about today's video. Thank you and have a great week.